Heya, my name is Emma, and today I wanted to play Invite Me In, which is a demo of a Yandere game. It does look interesting, so let's take a look. Read content warnings. This is a horror game demo that contains content made to induce fear. It is not recommended for those easily disturbed. If needed, please read the content warning before continuing. This game contains yandere behaviour, stalking, manipulation, harassment and violent tendencies, self-harm, blood, violence, suggestive themes, sudden tone shifts and other material made to induce fear. If you are sensitive to any of these materials, please reconsider playing. ... I have to know your name. My name is Emma. Emma. ... Yes. ... As the sun finally sets, the lengthening shadows all begin to bleed together until everything is covered in darkness. My path is only illuminated by the occasional streetlights, and I start to become very nervous again, like something bad is about to happen if not treaded with caution. I start picking up my pace as I get closer to home. I didn't plan to be out for so long, especially not at night all by myself. The grocery store bag clutched tightly in my hands seems much heavier, even though it only carries the sole jug of milk that I desperately needed before leaving the house earlier. Now I'm wondering if it was really worth the trip. ... Turning the corner just leads to another dark road. I debate whether I should slow down to prevent tripping, or just break out into a run here and now. But it's just a couple more blocks, and then I'll be back home. ... For some reason, nagging at the back of my mind, that didn't feel like an appealing solution either. If something dangerous really was just out of view, going back to an empty house was just like throwing a blanket over your head to keep the monsters away. It's moments like this I wish I didn't live alone. But I'm probably just anxious for no reason. I don't have any evidence that someone is really trying to hurt me. Just these paranoid feelings in the back of my mind that I should ignore. I really have to stop trying to freak myself out. All it is doing is causing me to lose sleep, which makes me more on edge. Focusing on getting home is the only thing I need to worry about for now. Then I can eat dinner, chill out, and finally get some much needed rest. ... Oh dear. Just as I was about to turn down the last street, I see a figure sitting next to the sidewalk, a few feet in front of me. I immediately stop walking and try to get a better look before getting any closer. I hear the blood start to pulse faster in my ears. They're almost fully hidden from view, so I didn't have much of a chance to see them from farther away. And they are perfectly still. I feel the fear rising in me again, and stay frozen in the same spot. My muscles tense, waiting to see if the stranger makes a move. ... They do nothing, and since it is so dark, I can't even tell if they have seen me or not. Though I keep getting the feeling they are not staring right at me. It's terrifying, but I just can't stand here forever. I want to go home. Swallowing the lingering, morbid thoughts and stirring up some bravery, I begin to walk again until I'm only a couple of feet away from the stranger. Oh. Once I'm closer, I can finally make out some of the vague details of their face, his face, and we make eye contact. He's a very cute lad. I flinch back a bit after seeing him look at me, but then I start to notice something strange. He's curled up in the grass, clutching his arms tightly to his body, and I begin to hear his heavy, uneven breaths over my own. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. Badly. Let's help him. As soon as I see the state he is in, I'm not only more worried than before, but now also heavily concerned for his well-being. Hello? Can you hear me all right? Are you okay? What's happened? ... For a moment, he just keeps looking at me. His expression is unreadable. This far from any light source, but he must feel scared too. He doesn't respond. At this point, I feel he may be really, really injured. Maybe he can't even understand me. Just as I reach into my pocket to try and call for help, he finally speaks up. Oh, it's not voiced. That's sad. Something happened to me earlier. I was just trying to walk home and I'm a bit hurt right now. A bit hurt? He doesn't seem like he's doing well at all. Do you need help? Can you walk? He leans forward and begins to push up on his arms like he's trying to stand up, but he quickly winces and sits back into his original position. It hurts. My arms really hurt. My legs are okay though. How did you hurt your arms? Is anything broken? Broken? I didn't break anything. He shifts uncomfortably on the ground, trying to move his body to a more upright position. He looks at me a bit nervous. It's easier to see his face like this. A bit cute too, pretty pale, a little scary. He's a bit cute. I didn't notice it before. This guy has such nice wavy hair and pretty eyes. I feel kind of bad for focusing on that, but the realization truly caught me off guard. My eyes shift away to focus on anything else. I shouldn't be thinking about this and instead try to find out how to help him. I must seem so rude right now. Please don't think I'm acting weird. Is everything alright? Oh god, he thinks I'm acting weird. Everything is totally fine. I'm just a bit squeamish about broken bones is all. Aw, smiling. Cute. You don't have to worry. My arms aren't broken, just a bit hurt. Well, okay. I'm glad it's not that bad then. You should really be more careful. Getting injured on the side of the road this late is really dangerous. I doubt he did it on purpose, did he? You're right. I'm really glad you're the one who came along. It seems like I had nothing to worry about earlier, to think I was so scared of him. I thought I was going to end up being mugged or murdered, but it ended up being a total overreaction. And now I'm just having a normal conversation with a stranger sitting in the grass. Well, that isn't too normal. But I still don't really know anything about him, and he still seems pretty worried too. I would really like to know more about him too. I should try and calm him down a bit more so I can help him better. He isn't going to tell me anything like this. What's your name? My name, it's Devon. What? Devon. Sorry if I'm butchering that. I don't know it. Never heard of it before. Sorry. He seems really shy about it. I feel kind of bad for asking now. That's a really nice name. It suits you. There's no way. I think your name is much nicer. Wait, what? How do you know my name? I didn't tell it to you yet. Oh? You didn't? Sorry, I must have thought you'd said it already and it slipped my mind. I feel a bit embarrassed. Nice save. Nice save, Mr. Yandere, man. I hope you don't think I'm insincere now that I complimented something I didn't even know, but I'm certain your name is nice. That's all I was trying to say. Sorry to confuse you. It's fine. I was just a bit caught off guard. So what is your name? I feel a bit hesitant to tell him now, but I really shouldn't fault him for an honest mistake. It's Emma. Emma, that's a nice name, just like I guessed. Devon is now more focused on his sudden blunder than the pain he was in, which is a brighter side. It seems that conversation helped a bit, even if somewhat awkwardly. He looks off to the side, trying to distract himself. Talking to a stranger like me seems to make him pretty nervous. As sort of an anxious reflex, he begins to mess with the sleeves of his sweater. He just ends up wincing in pain after pulling on them too hard. Seeing someone be miserable like this, I can't stop myself from asking him about it one more time. Do your arms still hurt to move? Yeah. Devon tries to move his arms again, and then gives up quickly. He pulls them back to his lap in a comforting position. Will he be able to make it back somewhere safe soon? It's horrible. His arms hurt too much to even make it home. I feel the best way to just hurry up this interaction is to help him out quickly and then head home. And the more he sits here in the dark, the more feelings of pity begin to surface. Talking to him has been a bit weird, but I can't help the gnawing feeling of concern for some reason. I feel bad for just leaving you here like this. Aw, he's blushing. Cute. Here, let me help you walk a bit closer to your house. You shouldn't have to sit here in the dark. My house is still a bit of a walk away. I should be fine. I feel better already after talking to you. It seems I may have been a bit too worried after all. At least let me walk you to the bench nearby to rest. It's better for you than just sitting on the ground. You'll help me? I really appreciate that. I just need some help standing up, and then I'll be okay to move on my own. Helping him out seemed an easy enough offer, but actually finding a good way to lift him up gracefully was a harder task than I guessed. Setting down my grocery bag of lonely milk on the sidewalk, I walk a bit closer to Devon. We both look at each other, trying to figure out the best way to go about this. I want to lift him up without hurting him or making him uncomfortable. Eventually he moves his legs until they are bent under him, almost in a kneeling position. Then I move beside him, wrapping my arms around his torso. As I increase the pressure of my hold on him, his breathing becomes even more laboured and unsteady. His body becomes incredibly tense, despite how carefully I try to lift. Are you okay? I'm not trying to touch your arms too much, but let me know if anything hurts. You can't leave him in this state. It really doesn't hurt that bad. I can barely feel it. Feeling a bit more reassured after knowing he's okay, I give one final lift until he is up on his feet. We did it! Hopefully you're all good to go now. Is there anything else I can do to help? I'm here if you need any. Before I can finish what I'm about to say, Devon begins to wobble over after trying to stand on his own. I quickly reach back over to hold him steady, and he ends up leaning back into my arms, clutching my shoulders to keep from falling. What happened? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Are you sure? I can call for someone. Are you sure? I can call someone for you. I'll get you a ride to a clinic if something is wrong. I think it's just my blood pressure after sitting there too long. I'm fine. Honestly, fine. Do you think you could try walking on your own, or is that too much? I think I need a bit more time before walking on my own. I can just sit back down if it's too much trouble for you. I'd be lying to say I'm not a bit tempted to take him up on the offer, but a small sense of guilt stops me from being back on my promise to help him. It's not too much trouble at all. If you're okay with it, you can lean on me while we walk to the bench. I don't know how much you feel like moving right now. If I have your support, I'll be okay to move. Okay, I'll try to walk slowly and not put too much strain on you again. We move in a side-by-side position where his arm is over my shoulder as I wrap my arm around his back. The walk continues at a steady pace as we get halfway down the street. I feel Devon's breathing as he pushes against me for stability. It seems to still be quick and heavy. His body also feels cold and damp. Just how long has he been there all by himself? Is he really okay? I look over to glance at Devon's face, which is completely pale with a small smile creeping onto his lips. The image is almost frightening with the state he is in. Like he doesn't even know how bad his condition is. No, like he doesn't even care. He notices me staring, and his unreadable gaze meets mine in an instant. It feels like he can read every thought and intention running through my mind. Suddenly his eyes soften and his grin turns more friendly, but the off-putting paleness is still there. Him being pale offends you, that's a bit weird. You really are too kind to me, even helping me walk. For a second I feel I can't move. I can hardly breathe while looking at him directly. As I said, no trouble. I have to force myself to turn away from him and continue to focus on walking. But I can still feel him right next to me as my heart hammers faster in my chest, and I pray he doesn't notice. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe it's just because we've met in such a weird situation, but he looks at me differently than anyone else I've ever met. And I wonder if it's really such a bad thing. I strengthen my resolve and begin to push forward again. We finally get to the end of the street and turn the last corner. The bench is just a few feet away. Here we are. You should be able to rest right over there. I gently pull him over until he's able to safely sit down on his own. He seems a bit shaken up still, but he's much better off on a clean bench near a street light than on the ground in the dark. Thank you for taking me all the way here. It was so considerate of you. Even though Devon says that, he doesn't look relieved at all. I feel a bit guilty ending it like this, but just how much more can I really do? Hell, he didn't even want me to do this much. I think he needs a cup of tea, poor lad. I'm glad I could help. I really hope you feel better soon. It was nice to meet you, Devon. Just as I'm about to walk away, his hand suddenly grabs mine. Let go of me! Did you need something else? Devon, are you alright? I immediately turn around and hold his hand in my own while trying to be gentle with his arms. What do you need? Did you change your mind about calling for some help or going to the doctor? I don't want you to have to suffer alone, so I don't mind waiting here with you. Devon looks up at me with wide eyes like he wasn't expecting this at all. As I begin to sit down on the bench next to him, he finally pulls his hand away and stops me. No, I didn't change my mind. Thank you, though. I just wanted to let you know. I want you to know. You left your milk behind earlier when helping me, and you probably didn't want to forget that. My milk? That's right, I totally forgot. I guess I got so distracted helping you, I almost didn't remember to go back for it. Thanks for reminding me, Devon. What would I have done without you? He quickly becomes flustered again and shakes his head a bit. Didn't you say I'm the reason you got distracted in the first place? Maybe so, but it wasn't like you did that on purpose, so I'd still say you're pretty helpful. Devon looks off to the side a bit embarrassed. I'm going to go grab my milk now, but let me know if you need anything else. I'll have to walk back by here to get home anyway, so I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, I'll see you in a minute then. I give a small wave and start to jog towards the corner we just came from. I make a turn and begin walking back down the previous road to where I left my milk. I really am glad that Devon said something because I would have felt so ridiculous once I'd got home. It was the only reason I came out here and went through all this wild evening after all. It only takes me a few seconds to find the lonely bag sitting on the sidewalk. The time makes me realise just how slow we were walking before. A distance that felt like it took ages to traverse was really a short jog. I quickly glance over to the milk to make sure it is still in good condition and that the jug looks perfectly fine. It was only out here by itself for a minute, but I better check than drink bad milk. Okay then. I scoop up the bag into my arms and start heading back. I really should say bye to Devon before heading home and check on him one last time. Oh, it doesn't look good. I run back to the bench and see him sitting there, just as I left him. Well, something seems a bit off. He seems just as unwell as ever. In fact, he's not even looking at me now. Is he ready for me to just leave now? Or does he even know I'm here? I step a bit closer so I'm right in front of him and try to duck down to get one last look at his face. Well, I got my milk, so I guess I'll be heading back home now. As I said before, it was nice to meet you. Get home safe, alright? I think we're leaving him a bit too soon. Should at least get his number and make sure he gets home alright. I don't know about this. He's obviously in bad condition. Can't just abandon him. Just as I'm about to leave, I finally notice the dark stains forming all over his sleeves and onto the rest of his clothes. Earlier they were small enough that they could be mistaken for shadows, especially in the dim light, but now seemed much more obvious. Is that blood? Now it's impossible to ignore it. The panic hit me like an anvil as I feel my heart drop. I looked down at the arm I had used to help support his body when we walked over here. There was a smudge of crimson streaked across my hand that I didn't see earlier. He was bleeding. He was bleeding so much. It didn't seem possible. How did I not notice how bad it was? There was blood dripping down his hands now. Did I make it worse? Did I hurt him while carrying him here? No, I didn't mean to hurt him. Will he be alright? I lifted Devon's shoulders to look at his face. His eyes seemed hazy, like he might pass out soon. You need to get to the hospital immediately. I'll call an ambulance. Why didn't you tell me you were bleeding this much? What happened to you? It's just a little bit of blood. A bit of blood? This seems like much more than a bit. Is it really that bad? Are you worried about me? Yes. Now show me how you got injured. I walk closely and try to reach over to grab his hand. Suddenly Devon moves up from the bench and stands in front of me. Emma, please just listen to me. I need help, but Devon seems to inhale deeply, like he's trying to rise all the courage and willpower he has. I want to rush over to help him sit back down again safely, but I feel frozen in place. I just examine his face, waiting for a sign to grab and steady him again. His eyes glance at mine, shifting from assessing to pleading, like he really needs to tell me something. He still seems physically weak, but it is almost like he's even more energized now, like something in the past few seconds totally revitalized his conviction. We both wait until he finally gets his bearings. Will you please hear me out? I hesitate a bit, but my curiosity and suspicion make me want to hear why he's been acting so strange this whole time. Maybe he really does have a good reason, and I can't deny he truly needs my help. Yeah, I'll listen. Oh dear. Devon steps a bit more into the light and raises his arms halfway into the air, like he's trying to reveal the injury without moving his sleeves, like he's trying to shield me from just how bad it is. But all I see is more blood, and he seems to sense my concern. I didn't want to worry you too much, but it seems the state I'm in looks quite bad. To be honest, it hurts really bad too. He grimaces as he looks down at his arms. Maybe he didn't even let himself think of how painful it was before. I didn't want you to know. My arms are so much worse than I led on. Then why don't you let me call for help? Someone did this to me. They were trying to hurt me. Someone hurt you? Who? Devon looks at me with a pained expression, and he stares at his arms again, looking at the stains forming along his sleeves. A stalker? A stalker? What? Are you being serious right now? I feel my blood begin to run cold. Out of all the things, a stalker? It's true, I didn't really know what was happening until it was too late. Next thing I know, I'm on the side of the street and bleeding. My arms hurt so much, but I couldn't move. I was afraid I was going to be found again and killed. But then you found me instead, and I felt safe. I hope you understand, but I really can't go to the hospital like this. I can tell my attacker would know that's where I would need to go, and they'd tried to find me there. So I'm too afraid, just the thought of it happening. I was just about to argue with Devon, but seeing the fear in his eyes and the way his body was shaking, I don't have the heart to disagree. It's okay, Devon. I understand. You're not going to call for help, right? No, not if you don't want me to. But why can't we call the police? You might be in real danger. Police. I don't think that's a good idea. It makes me too nervous. Plus, I don't think they would take me seriously after not believing me before. Looking at the blood continuing to drip from his hands, I feel it's hard to not take Devon seriously at the moment. But If he feels so certain about it, I shouldn't doubt him about this either. There has to be some solution, right? He can't just deal with this by himself and risk getting hurt even more. I want him to be able to get help. His life could be at risk, and I don't think I could go home, only to see him on the news tomorrow. Then what are we supposed to do? You can't keep walking around like that. I just need someplace safe. I really don't think I can just be at home alone while someone is after me. Then if there were some basic medical supplies, I can make it work. I've patched myself up from worse. It feels like an inadequate solution, but my mind is racing too much to think of a good alternative myself. I may end up regretting this later. But one thing I know for sure, I can't leave him like this. I may be terrified, but that's nothing compared to what Devon is going through at the moment. I've been on edge the past few weeks with the thought someone has been watching me, but he's been living it. I feel a bit silly trying to relate. I can't help but feel a sense of connection though, like it was fate that I happened to be the one here to help him. If anyone would know what it's like to live with this fear and how it can affect you, it would be me. And wouldn't I want someone to do the same for me if I was ever in such a dangerous situation? As I've been going through my reasoning in my mind, Devon has just been staring at me with a hopeful expression. If you need some place to go, you can come to my house. Really? I can come to your house? I have a first aid kit I bought recently. I'm not sure how helpful it will be, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, that'll work fine. Sorry. I can't believe you're really helping me. Me. I'm not going to leave you out here alone or just hand you off to people you don't feel safe with. I really do want to help you, Devon. And I find myself really meaning those words. We stare at each other for a moment, assessing this bizarre situation that has been laid out quickly in front of us. But the look on his face, he seems so happy, ecstatic even. This just shows that I definitely made the correct choice, right? Or did I even have a choice to not help someone in this much peril? It doesn't feel like I did at all. I try to push down any feeling of uncertainty and move on to the next objective. So, we really shouldn't stay out here too long, right? Isn't it kind of dangerous? Yes, you're right. We should leave right now. Devon's head whips around to survey the area, but he seems quickly satisfied. I think we're safe, but it's best to be careful and hurry along. Alright then, let's go. I instinctively walk over to Devon and lean against him, moving an arm across his back again. Emma, what are you doing? You still need help with walking, don't you? After all this, I can't have you falling over on me. Of course, sorry, I nearly forgot, and it surprised me. I can't help but smile at how flustered he still gets at this point, even with how horrible his night has gone. Even though we just met, Devon seems to enjoy being around me. I'm happy to think I could make what must be one of the worst days ever a bit brighter. Devon moves against my arms and we begin to walk together again. Maybe it's from doing it before that it feels easier this time. My house is just a few buildings down, so you don't have to wait too long. And then you can stay with me for the night and call whoever you need to call in the morning. This is really too kind of you. I don't deserve it, but at the same time I can't reject the offer. Don't feel bad for it. I really do want to help you. Is there a reason why you want to help me? Or are you just the type of person who would help anyone? Devon's face looks a bit upset when he says this. Does he think I have weird motives? I'm not really sure. I just think if I were in your shoes, I'd want someone to look out for me like this. I bet there is someone who would do anything for you. The strange compliment makes my heart thump quickly in my chest. I try to ignore it, but it's soon all I hear. It makes me feel a bit happy in somewhere, and I get flustered myself. To distract myself from the noise in my own head, I look out into the darkness, trying to search for any stalking figures. I make sure we aren't being followed, and there doesn't seem to be another soul in sight. For the past few weeks I've constantly been seeing moving shadows and feeling eyes on the back of my head. But for the first time in a while, I don't feel anything at all. I feel safer. And as I finally see the front of my house in view, I think the rest of this wild night is going to actually be okay. ... You have reached the end of the demo. Thank you, Emma, for playing and invite me in. Continue the game and see how the rest of the night folds later this year. The hearts above are a clue to the path that you are heading on. Alright, so let's press the green heart. What? So yeah, so the hearts didn't seem to do anything. I wonder if that feature's going to be added at a later date. Well, that was Invite Me In, the demo. It seems an interesting game. I would like to see where it's going to go. What do you think of it? Take care of yourself, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.